Welcome to the Catherine Vandome and Me podcast.
Hello and welcome to Catherine Vandome and Me. And today I'm joined by a very talented guest who is a creature actor and comedian, and he's also a pantomime dame regular at the Prince of Wales Theatre. Please welcome onto the podcast, Keith de Winter.
Quick, you're on. What are you on? Quick, you're on. Hiya.
Hiya, Keith.
Hello.
It's great to have you on today. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. And I'm loving the backdrop. We want to hear all about that. So go on. What's your position, Keith? What as a creature actor, can you just explain to the audience a little bit more about what that is?
All right. I don't know yet. I'm trying to work it out myself. A creature actor, creature performer, however you want to describe it, is a person that brings various creatures alive. Should it be for a TV series, or for a film, or even for a live show on stage. And most of the creatures that I do are animatronic, so I work alongside a puppeteer, so I do all the physical aspects of the creature, bringing them alive that way. And I've got puppeteer speaking in my ear, especially if I can't see, going, turn left, turn right, look up, look down. Because it's I say that they're not my eyes, because the eyes could be up here or wherever they would be. Yeah.
Wow.
That, in a nutshell, that's kind of, I bring something alive.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. So you're basically wearing the costume. So is it a bit like skin character work? That's another kind of description of it. Am I right?
Yeah, a lot of people use the term skin work. I kind of, for me, it's costume character work. And basically it's a full, depends on the nature of the character. Sometimes it could be, although I've not done a full one yet, it could be full prosthetics. And which is all I've only done head, face prosthetics. So basically everything that I've worn has been a costume that I put on, be it big or small, however big it needs to be. And then I've had an animatronic head.
Oh, wow.
That I put on, which is really heavy. Or I've had prosthetics made, which is kind of half and half. It's half mask and half prosthetics, around the face, around the neck, the eyes, the nose, the mouth, or even if it's covering up. Half the time they want to just cover me up anyway. In fact, as I've gotten older, or I should say, as I've gotten younger, a lot of I've had that
Benjamin Button, Keith.
Yeah, I wish. More people want to cover me up than see this. And what's wrong with this? I mean, come on.
There is nothing wrong with that, Keith. And so you basically, have you got like a dance background or something? We're going to go back into your childhood and start from there, and what inspired you to start developing
childhood.
Yeah, we're going to go back.
I can't even remember. I can't remember what happened yesterday. Actually,
it's going to be a challenge, and the main thing but the main thing is, what did you have like a dance background? Because obviously creature character work, or did you sort of go to Disney one day and go, oh, I want to be like Goofy? Did something inspire you to do the creature work?
It's funny, a lot of people think I'm goofy. Different kind of way. Dance background, oh my goodness me, if people could hear you uttering those words to me. Keith the dancer is here. I mean, this is me. That's
River
my
dance.
dance moves. So basically, I mean, everything that I do, I kind of, it's all spontaneous. I mean, I do choreography. I get the choreography, basic steps and what have you, but if you were to just expect me to do pirouettes and fling myself over and what have you, then I have to get a stunt man to do that.
But the main thing is, obviously, if you're inside animatronics and things, you must have great movement skills. What I love is everybody is very self-deprecating on my podcast, which I am as well. And the main thing is, you obviously have those talents. If you're the pantomime dame, you've got to be able to dance. You've got to be able to be a triple threat, Keith, which I know that you are. But you also have to be able to move physically. You must have. I mean, did you go to the Lecoq School of Mime or something? Something that backdropped and predetermined the ability to move in these costumes, because like you say, they're very weighted as well, but you have to be able to physically move. There must be some physical talents there, Keith.
Yeah, well, basically, because my why I wanted to be an actor was all for comedy anyway, and that's how I kind of set out to, years ago, way back when, to become, to make people laugh. That's what I wanted to do. And the best way is with visual comedy, slapstick comedy. So I've always been able to fall over, trip, do anything that would make people laugh. Then I would do, and then the more people laugh, the more I would do. So I've kind of adapted things over the years, and because I've worked with so many people who are, do similar things as well, you pick up little bits that they do.
Yes.
Because there's, no matter what people say, nothing's really original. We all take things from other people, be it a joke that we tell differently to what another person told, or a fall. Somebody will fall one way, and then you'll go, "Oh, I'll do that, but I'll fall a different way."
Yes.
And so it's adapting everything to how you can do it. And if it's all about getting laughs, then, like I say, the more you think, "Oh, right, that worked, I'll do that again. Oh, that didn't work, I'll change it and try and find what level will get that laughter."
Yes, absolutely. And so as we shunt backwards slightly, Keith, if we're able, as you said, with the Scooby-Doo.
How apt.
Oh my goodness, look at that.
Purely by chance that I put this on.
My goodness. And I can't see. So that's that's incredible. Like you.
Here, love.
So what we're going to do is, if we go back to your childhood, which I can't wait to hear about, going back to your youth, Keith, first of all, where did you go to school? Where are you from? And just start us off there, and let's see what inspired you to do these magical jobs that you're doing today, which is just phenomenal.
Okay. So it's serious for a minute.
Right. Oh no, there's nothing serious.
No, there's nothing serious about my childhood, I'll tell you that now. I'm from, I'm trying to think where I was born in. I was born with my mum. I know that she was there, and I think my dad was there, or he could have been in the pub. I'm not so sure.
He was definitely there 9 months before.
He was there. Yeah, that's another story. So I'm trying to think the area. I always get confused about the area, but Miles Platting.
Okay.
If you've heard of that.
No, where's that?
Miles Platting. It's where are you based? Where are you?
I'm in Preston, Lancashire, Fulwood.
Oh, you're in Preston, right? Well, I'm in North Manchester, so I'm
okay.
Where I live now is not far from Heaton Park.
Nice.
Yeah, a lot of people think I live in Heaton Park, in the big mansion. I do tell them that.
Is it just one, the big mansion?
Just the big mansion. Yeah, I wish. No, I live on a bench just next to it. So so where I live now is not far from there. But I grew up. I think I was born in Miles Platting, or near that area, and then I remember we lived in Miles Platting, and I think there was, because I got that big family. There was me, my mum, dad, and 2 other brothers.
Yeah.
I think we I think that's what
this is Manchester.
Yeah.
Forgive me.
This is North.
This is all Manchester.
No. So I'm Manchester born and bred.
Because anybody in America, anytime I'm over there and I say, where I'm from, they always say, is that near Manchester? So,
Liverpool,
it's London or Manchester.
Yeah. Manchester, Liverpool's like an hour away. Yeah,
Yes.
for all you USA people out there. Yeah. So I'm nowhere near Liverpool. Yeah. Go on, clear off, John, Paul, Ringo. Come on. Sorry, they keep coming in. So Manchester, that's where I'm from, and so I grew up. I think that we spent about maybe 4 years in Miles Platting, and then we moved to a place called New Moston.
Yeah.
So which was great, because I used to think, oh right, as I got older, I thought, oh, it's like New York, but
Yes.
New Moston, only
Yeah.
not as good and not as clean and not as friendly. Or maybe no, actually no. It's nice. It was nice when I was a kid.
Northerners are always friendly, Keith.
Yeah, of course we are. Yeah. So yeah, we moved to New Moston. And that was great, and that's where I remember going. Yeah, I was already in school, primary school, but then obviously when we moved, went to a new primary school.
And
And
where was your new primary school? What was that called?
that was called, oh crikey, New Moston Infants,
Yeah.
and then New Moston Junior
And just
primary
keeping you
school.
in there, Keith,
Yeah,
keeping you in your primary school, were you like the class clown, or somebody who, I mean, did you enjoy education, or were you sort of like me, sort of looking out the window and wanting to go on stage? You know, from what age did the buzz hit you?
I've got a class clown. No, I think I was quiet.
Were you?
Really,
You were a good boy.
I was kind of a bit quiet, but I do remember when we were in primary school, me and my mate, we did anything that we could to get out of being in class.
Yeah.
So we used to go to the headmaster's office, and like the little reception, say, "Are there any jobs that you need doing?" And we should get little jobs, like in this, the stock room, doing tidying up or doing anything just to get out of being in class. And because I was just, I don't know, I was kind of, I think bored. I was a bit
Yeah.
bored, being there, in class. So yeah, we should do that kind of thing.
And
And
how old
then,
would you be, Keith? How old would you be when you were sort of adapting like that?
oh,
About
about
7, 8?
38.
About
Uh,
30?
Probably about that 7, 8
Yeah.
years old.
And
And
did you
but
start drawing? Did you start drawing or creating or writing or anything like that? Sort of, what was your interest? When did it kind of start?
I have this recollection of probably being about the age 9, of wanting to do what people were doing on the TV.
Yeah, that's it.
Because I grew up watching comedies, with my dad and my brothers, and we used to watch Laurel and Hardy.
Oh, wow.
So I'm glad you know who Laurel and Hardy are.
Oh, no,
we used to watch
they're
them,
brilliant.
and
They're
they
brilliant.
were, were heroes and that, growing up. So I always remember watching them and going, I want to do what they're doing. I want to be able to make people laugh, and I love watching TV. That I always found watching film or anything else my escapism.
Yes.
If you like, I used to play out with my friends and everything, but when we played out, we used to always act things out. We used to always play cowboys and Indians, or we used to play war.
Yes.
Play war. I think of it now, I think, oh my goodness me, playing war.
Yes.
All these people. I know as we grew up, I think, oh, is that what they did in World War One and Two? They played war. Yeah.
You don't
So
know? Yeah.
I had no idea of it at that age. So
And
yeah,
very
playing out all
physical. Is
these
it physical comedy, Keith? Is it physical comedy?
physical
Yeah.
comedy, and that's what watching Lauren Hardy. That was everything about them is physical, slapstick comedy, because they transcended from silent movies to sound.
And Harold
And the way
Lloyd, was that somebody else?
and
Harold
Harold
Lloyd?
Lloyd,
Yeah.
all the Buster
Charlie
Keaton,
Chaplin.
Charlie Chaplin, all the greats. That just absolutely adored watching them, and I used to just cry laughing. Everything.
Yes.
I could watch the same thing now,
Yeah.
and they still make me laugh. The same thing over and over. It's just really funny. Anyone that said they're not funny, they watch them. It's like, how could you not find that funny? Because a lot of comedians today have utilized those abilities into their act or into any routines that they do, and it all stems from way back when, and
Yeah,
that's
it
where it all
does.
comes from. It
And
does.
And hearing you, is it your father, perhaps? Was he an actor or anything, or was he an inspiration in that respect of showing, loving
The
the
it's
movies?
funny, yeah. It's my dad was quiet. He was
Okay.
quite quiet, but before, when he first met my mother, or before he met her, he used to do some singing in pubs.
Oh, wow.
But I don't know. But unfortunately, I don't know to what extent. Because every time I bring this conversation up with my mother, she'll go, "Oh, I can't remember. I don't know
Oh,
what he did." And I'll go, "Oh, I'd love to know what he did." And I've got a couple of pictures of him at a microphone in a pub. So in fact, there's one picture of him with a microphone in a pub with his hand all bandaged up, and I thought, "Oh my word, what's he been up to?" And
wow.
but my dad's really, he was really quiet. So the acting side, I used to think, where's it coming from? Because nobody in the family was doing this. The closest thing that came to it was every Whit week holiday, and I don't know what which used to be around May. I think it was May time. There used
Yeah.
to be the
Maybank holiday.
Maybank holiday. So
Yeah.
it was what was called Whit week, and I can't think for the life of me why it was called that. And we used to all go down as to my grand's, and in Miles Platting, where she lived in a block of flats. And we used to all go down there with my other uncles would turn up with their kids. Well, actually, I think my dad was the first to have kids, so we used to be there. And my dad and his brothers, they would perform. They'd just do a little show, but
Brilliant.
they would do the Goon Show. Do you remember the Goon
Yes,
Show? Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
Now, and that was with the Goon Show. For people that don't know, it had people like Harry Seacombe, Peter Sellers, Spike
Yeah.
Milligan,
Love it.
and
Yeah.
I'm forgetting the others. And they used to do these comedy routines. I suppose pre Monty Python days.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
what they did, and they would do these sketches, mostly obviously for radio, and then they did move on to TV back in the probably the 50s, 60s,
Yeah.
as well, but yeah, probably the 50s. And so my dad and his brothers used to do they used to read the scripts that they had. And we used to just watch and laugh and everything.
Brilliant.
And they just did that bit of entertainment. And so then when they were doing that, I kind of used to do things. I used to do impressions. I can't do impressions. I can't do them at all. But when I was a kid, I thought I could. So I used to do impressions with my brother as well, and we used to do things like Frank Spencer, Betty, doing all that kind of thing, and just to make the family laugh, and it was working. And then as the years kind of moved on, I then moved on to being able to be part of the Goon, doing the Goon with
Brilliant.
them,
So as you
and reading
what a
them.
teenager would you be?
Yeah, a young teenager. But I started acting a bit before that. I got the bug before that anyway, and so it was like, yeah, you can read. I was like, oh, I can read one of the scripts with them, and
In the family,
doing
yeah.
it.
So
Yeah, and
you
so we were doing it
felt
with my uncles, and
yes.
we were doing these scripts and what
Wow.
I mean. And it probably at the time it probably felt like it was loads we were doing, but when I think about it, I bet it was only like 5-10 minutes worth of
Of
material.
material.
So
But
we
you
did that.
but you, Keith, were sort of welcomed into the clan of who you were looking up to, because that's why I wanted to go back to youth.
Yeah, yeah,
It's not always what we're doing today. It's like what inspired us as a little tot. So we'd look up and we'd think, oh, wouldn't it be great to be with my dad and his brothers?
yeah,
And
yeah,
that was your first sort of magic
yeah.
moment. I was just saying that it was an inspiration as a little tot to look up to your dad and his brothers performing the Goonies, and then have
The
the
Goons,
opportunity to the Goons. Sorry,
the
yeah, the
Goons.
Goons,
Yeah,
and
that's a completely different kettle of fish.
of course it is.
The Goons. Imagine that. And there's somebody coming in, one-eyed Willie. Yeah. What?
The Goonies.
That,
I
that
mean the
that's
Goons.
a different kind of. What are you
Corey
doing,
Heyman,
Dad?
Corey Feldman, or whoever.
Yeah.
The Goons, right? We'll go back, otherwise I'll look stupid. Which isn't hard.
No, love it. Keep it in. Keep it in. Here's
So
one-eyed Willie. What are you doing, Dad? Put it away.
So you basically were copying the Goons, and you wanted to be like your dad and your brothers, and then they suddenly invited you into the bosom of the
Yeah, so
family, and you got to
doing that.
perform.
Yeah,
That's
so doing that
great.
with my uncles and my dad, and I don't even remember if my other brothers, they may have, one of my eldest brother may have done, but he's not really, none of them are really they're not performers. I was the only one. I'm the only one in
Wow.
the family, should I say, that's the performer. So, but aside from that, the where I had this recollection of when I was about 9 that I wanted to do the acting, doing that.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it was in a school play,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
the only thing I can remember of this school play is I played a soldier. And
Okay.
I had the little a Roman soldier I played, and I had a wooden sword and everything. And the only thing I can remember is that we had to come in and be all fighting and what have you. And then obviously I got killed, but the only thing I could think was, okay, this is really quick. I want to make the most of this. Um, I can't remember what the play was, whether it's probably something serious, not comedy, but I turned it into comedy because
Yes.
I did the most over the top death scene.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
did it, I don't know how many, if we did it for just a day or if it was a couple of days we did of performances, but I just did an over the top death. So I would get killed and I'd be like, "Ah." And because I was doing what I was doing, it was getting people laughing. But the more they laughed, the more I did it.
Yes.
So I just kept
Yes.
doing it even more. So that was the thing that got me. Yeah, I want to do this. I've got to do more. And then obviously moved on throughout school. I don't remember doing any more acting then. I remember going to drama classes in at the end of primary. In fact, I remember in primary school we had. Do you remember the careers teacher, a
Yes.
careers officer, or
Yeah.
what have you? Giving you the advice
Yeah. And
on
you
what you
don't want
want to
any of
be.
the subjects in front of you. You just want the
Yeah,
acting that's not there.
and I always remember the careers teacher turning around to me, and uh, I don't. Again, I'm sorry that I can't remember whether it was primary
Or
or
secondary. I
secondary.
think careers
Um,
might be secondary, Keith.
it could
And I
have
was
been.
also going to say, was that the only time in your death? Was that the only time you've ever died on stage?
No, I've died lots of times.
Me
Yeah,
too.
and it's great though when that happens. I love it.
Yeah.
When something, it's like, okay, let's move
It,
on. But
it is.
I love
It
it.
is.
And again, it depends because some of the work that I do, if something doesn't get a laugh, I don't. It's so easy to do something and make the, because you don't want to alienate an audience and make them look stupid,
Yeah.
for not laughing, for not getting, because if they don't get it, because every audience is
Yes.
different. That your show can be the same throughout, but the
Yes.
audiences are always different, and every show, I always tell people that every show is like the first time you've ever performed it. Even if you performed it a dozen times, it's the first time each time.
Yeah.
And the only thing you do change, there might be little things that you think, I mean, I do adapt. Well, if there's room for me to do it, I'll adapt little things because I always think if somebody comes back and watches it, I'd like them to go, "Oh, you did something different there,"
Yes.
which not necessarily to detract from what they watched, but to make it another experience for them to to see. So
Good
that's
on you.
what
Well,
I.
that's spoken like a true pro, Keith. That's not everybody does that. Some people get into the rhythm, and to some it's a monotony, and they're sort of getting to the end. But what I love about you is you're in it, and as you quite rightly said, and I feel like that as well. Every single performance counts, and it's completely different. And as you say, the material could be the same. It just
Yeah.
either for whatever reason it bounces in a different direction, but you learn from dying, don't you? As
Oh
soon as you
gosh.
died,
You do,
nothing,
you do.
especially your
You're like,
worst
right,
death.
nothing from that, right? We'll change that. I mean, I'll tell you about
Absolutely.
a routine later. But when I was at then primary school. It must have been secondary school when I
Yeah.
had the careers officer, and I remember him asking me what did I want to be. You know, what do I want to do when I leave school and that? And I said I want to be an actor. Right?
Brilliant.
And he turned around and he looked at me and he went, "Don't be ridiculous." Don't be ridiculous. You can't just be an actor. There's loads. He went, you need to think of something in the field. He went to go away and think about what you want to do and what have you, and then I'll see you next week. I went away and I thought, what? I thought, right, okay. I came back a week later, right? So what do you want to be then? I want to be a director. That's what I said to him. Right? And he went to me. He went. Now you're just being, really, really stupid. Now he went. You can't just be a director. And so rather than giving me advice on what I needed to do, he fobbed me off, and that was it. I kind of walked out going, "What?"
I was half waiting for you to say. So he turned around and said, "What do you think you are, a comedian?"
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'll put that one down.
I think he was the comedian. So that was it. I kind of, that was it. No more talk. So I was doing drama classes in secondary school up into the third year, and I absolutely loved doing drama classes. Now we didn't put on plays or anything. We were just reading scripts in the class and everything. Reading parts. And I always remember, even in primary school. In fact, it was primary school. Our drama teacher. I remember asking him. I said, what do I need to be an actor? And he said to me, there's only one thing you need. He said, that's confidence.
Yeah.
He said, if you've got the confidence, he said, everything else will fall into place. And I went, right. And I always took that on board. And the only time I was ever confident in anything growing up was acting. I was never confident in any jobs that I did, because it wasn't me. I've done loads of jobs and I was never confident. I could do them, but just the level of competence of doing that, and I was never competent in getting a girlfriend. Crikey, when girls came along, it was like especially in class, I'm going, she's nice, and that, but never had the confidence.
Keith.
To say, you got me. In fact.
Is this now? Are we using
Yeah.
this as your dating profile now?
Dating profile. Hey, yeah, but don't tell the wife. So, but yeah, and I always remember. I can tell this story because this girl, whatever, it's not as if she knows who I am now anyway. But I always remember that when I was at secondary school, I again hated. I wasn't really into anything at school. I used to do a lot of at school. I was great at cross country, so I've always been, I was always good at running, and
Wow.
I used to always do that. But doing any other sports than that, I was never really interested, in doing anything else. So the idea of playing football at school never entered my head. Being at home playing football on the street with my mates, that was something.
That was it.
That was great doing that.
Yeah.
And but any game, doing all that, but at school just wasn't. The only sport was running that I enjoyed, because even swimming back in primary school, even that was.
Well, it was always cold. You'd always have to stand at the side,
cold,
and you're vulnerable when you're little.
Yeah,
I think it was a bit clinical the way they did it.
Yeah, and obviously I learned to swim. From doing that, but it was kind of, you were left to your own devices.
Yes.
So it was like, keep trying, and then
Just
eventually keep going, and one day I'll get it. But no, I can swim.
You can, good.
I can, yeah. So that's kind of how you did things. But
and did you do after school, Keith? Did you do after school drama things? Like I did a lot of. You didn't. I don't mean from school. I mean, did you join any local drama groups, which is something I did?
After when I did that, it was after I was just going to say retired from school. That was after. Retired from school.
Do you know what? It sounds like you didn't enjoy it, so you're sort of saying, do you know what? That chapter's done. I retired.
Yeah, that chapter. But One quick thing about, just to tell you my level of competence with everything at school, especially with the ladies. I just remember after the this is what kind of really completely put me off with school anyway. That after the third year, it was then moving into the fourth and fifth,
Yeah.
and you had to pick everything, your subjects then. And I was going, oh, right, because I used to love English as well, and English because I used to be able to write stories and things. I'm an English teacher, whoever it was, they used to always say, you've got a very vivid imagination for storytelling. And I used to go, yeah, and I'd write and write and write. And not that my grammar was was great, but just the stories were always there. So I always remember that when I had to pick subjects, and it was all things like chemistry and physics. And as you can see from my laboratory that I built, that went well. And so I thought, right, where's drama? And you couldn't have drama. You couldn't pick drama. That was it. No drama. And I was like, but I want to do drama. No, there is no drama.
Where was this, Keith?
This
At
was
where?
at school. At school, this was
At
in
high
secondary school.
school?
At high school, after the third year, for the fourth
Now
and fifth,
in
you couldn't pick
ours,
drama.
they actually, God bless my mum, they changed the curriculum timetable because my mum said, Cathy can't do maths. My brother went to Oxford to do maths. So you can
Yeah.
imagine they just genuinely, one of the teachers said, well, your brother can do maths, so you must be able to. And I said, no, we're two different human beings.
Yeah.
But the point is, my mum, God bless her, and a few others helped change the curriculum in third year so that art and drama were in two different columns, so I could choose those instead of geography and history, for example. Then they
Right.
changed them back the year after, and I was very blessed that happened in my year. And you're saying in your column, are you saying there was no drama option?
No drama option. There was no drama option at
Oh,
all.
you never
It was
actually had it.
no drama option, and I was really so frustrated, going, but where? And there was nobody to speak to about that. And I
Yeah,
remember when I told, I probably did tell my mum and dad, but they weren't really interested in in that side of everything that I did. It was
yes,
like,
yeah,
no, you go to school, you're doing what you're doing.
yeah,
I don't think they really understood how serious I was about what I wanted to be.
yeah.
So when that kind of happened, I thought, right, so picking the subjects, and one of them was home economics that I chose, right? And the only reason why I chose that was because I thought it got me out of that school, because I was in an all boys school, and
Okay, okay.
there was a girls' school. So I went to North Manchester High School for boys,
Yeah.
and across the way was North Manchester High School for girls. Right, kind of a little bit further than just over the way. So I thought, I'm going to do home economics, because it meant I had to go to the girls' school to do a cookery class. Right.
Brilliant.
Right.
Oh, you
So
see, wisdom.
yeah. And my wife will tell you to this day that I can't cook anything. I can't even.
I don't think you were really concentrating on the cooking, were you, Keith?
So and it was like, I thought, well, it gets me out of that school. I know I can take my time walking over there, do the and I thought, this is in my head thinking, right, okay, and there'll be girls there, and I thought, great. And of course, so doing this cookery, and oh my goodness me, I couldn't cook, I couldn't do anything. I just like going, what? I just didn't take it in. But I think what affected all that was I then, because school, I was just not interested whatsoever, and everything just went downhill with all my lessons, because I didn't want to be there. And even me, my English suffered, because I loved that, but I used to not go in. I used to, if I could fake illness, I mean, if I was ill, um I just did anything to not be in school, and so it affected everything. And but I didn't really realize that, because in my head I wanted to be an actor. That's
Yeah.
what all I wanted to do, and not that I was out of school doing acting. I can't even think what I was, probably just watching more stuff on TV when I could, because my mother used to just let me stay off and go, "Oh, wait till your father gets home. Wait till he finds out." And of course, she never told him.
Oh,
That
that's
I got
good.
skilled.
So you
So,
had a good relationship with your mum, it sounds like.
well, Yeah, it's one of them where, you know, it's like, you know, she used to, well, she would say she does, she's still alive, and but she always give us the third degree,
Yeah.
and then, but it's like, if she mentioned my dad, it's like, oh, don't tell me dad, don't tell me dad, you know, don't tell him,
Oh,
because that's how we, you know, we kind of all
yeah.
were, you know, but
That's
my
how it
dad.
was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of like, well, not that my dad used to come in and, you know, he used to leather us and punch us and drag us around.
Yeah.
Nothing. My dad used to come in and it was great, you know.
Yeah.
But he was always, but like I say, he was quiet. So going back to the school thing, the home economics, this girl, I really liked her, and I thought, oh, well, I want to ask her out. And a friend said to me, ask her out, and he's got, I can't. What if she'll say no? She'll say no. I can't do that. So I wrote a note asking her to meet me and everything, and I folded it up and I put it in a bag. Right, I kind of threw it in a bag, and then that I think it was, I don't know if it was that night, the night after, what have you. I never turned up. I never went to where I said, because I thought she won't
Oh.
go anyway, and so
Oh.
to this day I don't know whether she did
Oh, Keith. Well, if you're watching, do you know her
turn up.
name? Do you know her
Uh,
name?
uh, I kind of do, but I'm not going to say. Um,
She's still there, Keith, with a
she's
rhubarb
probably still
pie.
there going, where is he? He must be here by now. He's probably still only that big, but he must be here soon.
Do you know what? It might be like a movie. She might return to that spot once a year just to see.
Yeah. If anything, yeah, but you had to see if he's there and go, ah, you left me here. But I don't, because I do remember going into, you know, obviously into school after that. And she didn't say anything or didn't give me daggers or anything. So I think it's one of them where she probably just saw it and just did that, you know.
Oh, you don't know. Did you
She
put your
either
name
did
on it
that or she ironed it and put it in a frame
and
and
framed
going,
it?
one day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One day I'm
Yeah.
going to watch this man on a podcast and I'm going to say, I
Yeah.
was there. So if you are watching,
Yeah.
please get in
Now,
touch.
if you are watching, yeah, yeah, keep watching.
Let us know what you
So,
did that day.
but but that's kind of the confidence. I had no confidence in anything but acting. So I kind of moved on from that, and I thought, right, I did all the school thing. I did what exams I had to do, which was none. Oh, crikey, I remember again not going in for exams, and my mum and dad getting a letter through going, "You've been fined for your son
Really?
not coming in for exams." I was like, and you know, my mum, you know, telling me off and at me going, I did go. I did go for some, and I
Yeah.
didn't bother getting my results and everything because I just didn't. I knew that they wouldn't be any good because for me, school it just didn't give me what I wanted.
Yeah.
Now, had I been told back then that, yeah, you need to, you know, it's important, and you know, this is the way, if you want to become an actor, then this is what you need to do. If it had been given that guidance, then school, you know, maybe it wouldn't have been affected the way that it was. And I'm not blaming other people for that, you know. Yes, I am. No, I'm not blaming others. Yeah, it's your fault. I could have been I could have been
Are
a
you
lawyer now, a
are you
doctor.
saying, Keith, to anybody that's watching that's a little bit younger, are you saying that with the career that you have, this exciting career you have, you wish, looking back, you
Yeah.
wish that you had done the bits of boringdom, if you like, the bits that you weren't so interested in, because
It's
it can set you
yeah.
up. So if anybody that's young,
Unfortunately, yeah. Anybody,
looking and aspiring to be
yeah,
like you,
yeah.
get your grades, because it can definitely,
Grades, your grades, no matter what you're doing, you know, it's so important because
yeah,
it does, because you do, no, but people do look upon you differently,
yeah,
and then it's all, and because again, especially with what I wanted to get into, that because of I came out of school going, right, what job can I do?
of
I
course,
didn't
yeah,
think. It's like, well, I need a job. So because I didn't have anything to back me up, I was going into jobs that didn't have any meaning whatsoever.
yeah,
So, you know, so for any young people now, there's so much out there to help young people to becoming, you know, part of the industry. So there is no reason why they can't do well at school and just work their way up.
Yes.
to get the grades that they want.
What
I'm
you're also
not saying that getting the grades, you'll get them all and then bang, you become an actor or you get a job in what have you. There's still a long way to go, and it's still all about if you're good enough and if you meet the right, meet the right people along the way. I mean, this has been quite a journey for me. It's not been an overnight thing. It's been one heck of a journey.
And so take us into that, Keith. So you've left school, you've done some jobs that you weren't particularly happy in, and as you were doing them, did your father, was he in your life then? Was he still
Yeah, he
performing?
was. My dad was still alive, but again, I wanted to be an actor. So I remember I had my first job. Well, this is what I did. Do you remember when they used to have training courses, 12-week training courses?
Yes.
Right? It was called Key Top. I always remember that. And so I thought, right, okay, I can't get a job. I'll go on a training course, which was through the unemployment and everything. And it was to get me off the unemployment, to go on a training course for 12 weeks. And I did a typing course. And
Okay.
and a typing course, for those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, it's a typewriter that was invented way back in the years and years ago. And it's this big, massive contraption that you would press down. But I got to use an electric one, which was dead easy.
Did you? An electric typewriter?
Because they invented electric when I was younger.
Now, did you decide, because it was a predominantly female role to be a receptionist and typist, did you think this is another way to meet ladies?
No, no, complete opposite. I did it because I thought, because I like to write stories, I thought I'll learn how to use a typewriter so I can type stories. That's what I wanted to do it for. So that's the only reason why I wanted to do that. And then after that, I got a job as a junior clerk working for the co-op. Yeah, and the first big job. And it wasn't a horrible job. I've got to say, it was nice. I worked with some lovely people, and one of the ladies that worked there, she came in one day, and they all knew that I was into acting and I wanted to do that. And they, because again, whenever we used to have any get-togethers or like Christmas parties, I used to try be the fun one. And I always remember this woman came in one day and she had a little newspaper clipping, right? And newspapers, for those of you that don't know, we used to have pieces of paper with all the news on them, and not something you look on the internet and go, oh, it must be true. Yeah, we used to have it in paper form, where we used to go, oh, that must be true, and and open the pages and go, oh yeah, see, this is inappropriate, this paper, Dad. Why have you bought this one? Yeah.
And we could double up the paper for fish and chips and things like that.
For
so
fish and chips, yeah.
There was multi-purpose to these newspapers.
Yeah, well, as we used to use it, we had to use it for toilet roll as well. That's how poor we were. Yeah. Which was really annoying because my dad would always say, right, who's got the sports section?
Are you reading it or using it?
Yeah. This lady, Pauline, her name was, and she brought in this newspaper clipping in, and it had on it, we're looking for actors, people to join our society, and what have you. And I was like, oh, right, oh, great, ring this number. So, like, I rang them up and everything, and I spoke to this guy, Phil, and he said, yes, so we're an amateur dramatic society. We're looking for actors. And I was having a good chat with him, and he said, "Yeah, come down and everything." And I was like, "Great!" So I went down and to join this society, which, oddly enough, where I live now, this community centre is only kind of round the corner from where I live, and that's where I started off my amateur dramatics days.
Wow! And what's it called, Keith?
Well, they were at the time. They're not there now. This was years ago. They were called the Sphere Players.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I joined them, and there was quite a few new people that joined, and there was a lot. Obviously, there's a lot of older people there because that's what a lot of amateur societies are full of. A lot of old people that started these societies off, and then they've stayed throughout the years.
Yeah.
They continue, and they basically ran this society. Now, So I
And
joined.
how old
and
would you
everything.
be? How old
I
would
was
you be?
18.
18, right.
18. I think I was 18 then. Or
And
nearly 18.
what was your first production?
My first production was a play called On Monday Next.
Okay. Who's that by?
Anyway, it's a I should know this. It's a guy by Philip. Let's say his first name's Philip.
Yeah.
That's and he writes comedies and what have you.
Oh, a comedy, right? Because I've not heard
Comedy.
of that. On Monday Next.
And
Okay.
well, basically, it's a play in a play.
A play within a play.
Okay,
Yeah.
a play within a play, and I played the caretaker.
Okay.
I played the caretaker of this society in this that we're putting on a production.
Yeah.
So I played this caretaker. So I thought, right, okay, I'm going to grow a beard. So I've never grown a beard in my life, and I used to try growing moustaches. So I grew this beard that was kind of wispy, curly beard thing, and unfortunately I've got a picture, but I've not got it with me here, of me in that show. And I also had I had hair back then.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was how long ago it was, and I had went through this phase with my brother that I thought it'd be a good idea to have a perm
Well, it was in fashion, wasn't it?
in fashion. Yeah, it didn't look fashionable on me. I'd tell you that now. And it didn't look like what it should have done, like it did on other people. Yeah, what was that? But yeah, I'm going for a perm, and I got this perm. My brother did as well. At this, I don't know how we knew this woman, but it was at her house because she was a hairdresser at home.
Yeah.
So I remember going to her house and having this perm done. Really, I think about it now, I think that's just really crazy things to do. So yeah, having this perm. So I did this play, and I played the caretaker, and again it was a comedy, and I had some comedy lines, but I didn't, it wasn't, it wasn't the main part or anything like that. Just one of the supporting roles, but it was nice, a little part to do, and
Yeah.
I got laughs.
So was this
nice.
your second performance, apart from a little bit of stint of rehearsing drama within school up till third year? From that age 9, where you got your first laugh, which was brilliant.
Yeah.
Is this now your first performance?
It's
in
certainly
production?
certainly my first performance as a young adult.
Yeah.
Whether I did do anything, I don't recollect doing anything,
No.
more throughout those years. But
So
yeah,
you're now
and
18, and you're looking
I'm
like Harry
18.
Enfield in Calm
I
Down, Calm
look,
Down.
I look, I look 18. I looked about 50. I tell you, I looked
50?
older then. Oh crikey, I looked older. I remember I had these overalls and it got laughs and everything,
Brilliant.
and which was great. And then it was after that, I then did that would have been in probably about the September, maybe time, October time, when that show was on. Then after that, it became they were doing a pantomime next.
Wonderful. So
And
that was the
so
Christmas, yeah.
so then after that, they were doing a pantomime. And I had a great time. Oh, and what was good about doing that play is it was the first time that my dad saw me in a play
Ah.
in on Monday nights. But my mum and dad didn't come on the same night. They came on different nights. My dad came on a Friday night, and he came on his own. I don't know why, but he used to always come to watch me on a Friday night, right?
Ah.
And the Friday nights, and in Amdram societies, they probably always tell you that Friday. Well, my experience anyway was Friday nights were always a weird one for an audience. In that we would do it was only like 3 nights that we used to do it. We used to do a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and so Thursday night open up. It would be fun and what have you. Second night, the Friday night, they didn't seem to laugh as much or laugh out loud the same way. You'd be going, well, that was weird. So that was my first time thinking, oh right, why are they not laughing? And I remember saying to my dad, going, did you enjoy that play? And he went, yeah, it was really good. I went, but people weren't laughing, like they didn't. And he said, they were laughing inside.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
He said they were laughing because he said he was laughing, but laughing inside. He wasn't laughing, bellowing. He said he was laughing inside, and people were laughing around him.
Yeah.
So he said it was, but they just weren't. And then Saturday night, people were really, laughing out
Expressive.
loud, expressing it. And that, again, that's when I learned that just because they're not laughing out loud doesn't mean that it's not working.
Yeah.
So a lot of performers, a lot of actors, they would think that an audience isn't laughing. So rather than go out and just carry on, they would then overemphasize certain things, thinking that the audience didn't get the gag or didn't think it was funny. They're going, right, why are you not laughing at me? You should be laughing now. This is a joke. And
they would
do
actually
more.
say that on the stage.
Well, they wouldn't say that, but that's how the performance. That's what you can tell. That's what they're doing. Going, oh, you're not laughing, okay.
But you've just got to, as a professional, you've just got to keep going, keep in character,
keep going, because again,
yeah,
every audience, they're all different. No matter what show, no matter matinee, evening, whatever day, they're all different. So you can't expect them to laugh at the same thing. And again, they're laughing at different things. And it's another experience is people will laugh at something completely different, something you would never expect. And you go, I can't believe that got a laugh. Wow.
Yes.
And then when you do it again, you go, oh, right, okay, didn't get a laugh then. It was just a one-off. It can be a one-off. And the same goes for, again, going into panto, going ad-libbing, that not everybody can ad-lib, and not everybody should try ad-libbing.
Yeah.
Again, and there are only certain characters in a pantomime that are allowed to ad-lib.
Yeah. The comic and the dame.
The best ad libs are always the rehearse ad libs anyway. That's the beauty of. That's why you have rehearsals to do that. When you're doing a play, you don't obviously if a script's good enough, you don't need to change anything. You don't need to do anything. You just stick with what's written down, because somebody's written that. Because it works. And if you can't make that work, it's not the words, it's you. You're the one that can't make that work. And so you've got to be able to translate that across. Whereas if you've got the luxury of having a writer there with you, and you're doing something, you're going, this isn't really working, then you can work together and change it. Or you can think, oh, I've got something else that I can put in place. So I'm a bit, it's always that give and take. But again, we don't always have the luxury of doing that as actors. We don't always have writers with us that we can do that with. Especially if it's a script that's an old script, and a lot of amateur societies, all the scripts, they're all obviously they're free, aren't they? They've got free license. That's why they can put these shows on. Again, when I was doing it, so doing going from doing a play and then doing a pantomime. Now, I'd never done a pantomime before in my life, and so I'd watched pantomimes. I've seen a couple of pantomimes, but I never thought about being in one. Never entered my head. So when they decided they were doing a pantomime after this play, they were doing a panto called Mother Goose.
Okay.
So that was my first pantomime.
And what did you play in that case?
I played the village mayor.
Okay, so you started with a masculine role, and
so I played the village mayor. Now, because a reason for the other characters that I'll tell you about in a minute, but playing the village mayor, so I was kind of like a baddie, but not the baddie as that one, because we did have a baddie in the show.
You were like a member of the government.
Which definitely is a baddie, yeah. So, but I tried not to be too conservative about it.
Hey.
So that was again learning another craft of getting laughs and use other skills, and that also brought in my slapstick skills that I kind of had developed from watching Lauren Hardy and watching lots of other comedians and thinking, and I kind of had this ability to be able to, pull faces and everything. I'm kind of, good at that, or, raising the eyes wide. And so I utilized that into this character. Again, being guided by a friend of mine who brought me on, who's a good friend, still to this day. And he helped me through the pantomime, helped me about delivery, how different it was from doing a play.
And can you
Again,
say who this friend is, Keith?
yeah, my friend Phil McCarthy,
Okay.
and he's a great friend, and we had so much fun on we had so much fun in various plays over the years when we were in that society together, and it was because of him
Oh,
that he helped me through my first pantomime, and I think with my friend Phil, and the best way to describe him is that he used to just remind me of Eric Morecambe.
oh, he's my favourite.
Yeah, and that's
Wow.
what. And Phil is man. Everything that he does, he gets the laughs. He's just so
Oh,
funny.
wow.
He really is funny. He would the things that he does off stage as well.
Yeah.
That were the things that I'd be thinking. I wish I could be like him. It's how outgoing he is. But again, I think it's
Oh,
because of the job that he did.
but you've got, from what I can hear, Keith, about you, you've got all those skills as well. I mean, as I say, you know, to give you the credit back, that's what it's about. You have those skills.
It's taken a long time for me to be able to be comfortable in doing what I do on the stage and
Yes.
realizing I can be like that around people. But because I would always keep the two separate. And the only
Okay.
time, yeah, I just kind of did. It was like, I'm performing now. I can perform. And when I was rehearsing, I would have, I'd be with the same people that were like minded. They were doing the same thing, so we'd have fun. But outside of that, it just didn't. I just couldn't be that way.
Were you slightly shy? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, yeah, quite.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say quite shy. So, but the confidence
As soon as you
out
stepped
there.
into, so you're
As soon
putting
as
a
I
mask
step on the
on.
stage,
You're putting a mask on, and
yeah,
obviously that correlates with who
yeah,
you are today, where you
yeah,
literally put the creature masks on and come
yeah,
alive.
yeah,
So that's interesting that underneath these characters that we're going to hear about next as well, you basically put the mask on and
yeah.
Keith De Winter comes alive. Would you
Well,
say
it
it's
is.
that?
I mean, what was important to me, and and it still is now, is that whenever people come to watch me in anything, if
Yeah.
it's a play or a pantomime, I want them. What I didn't want was them to see me off stage and go, "You're exactly the same as you are up there,"
Yes.
because then I'd be thinking, "Well, I've not done my job. Then I've not done
Oh,
what I
that's
should have been doing."
good.
Because
Yes. Yeah.
I played a character on stage that's nothing like me.
Yes.
Nothing,
Yes.
nothing to do with what I am. So when you see me off stage, so because off stage, I used to think, "Ah, I'm so boring off, away from it, from all that." The only time I'm alive is when I'm on the stage or when I'm talking about all this kind of thing,
Yeah.
everything that I do.
Yeah.
That's kind of for me.
Yeah.
That's how I felt, throughout the years. That that's when where the passion is. If
Yeah.
people wanted to not talk about all that, the passion's
You come
there.
alive.
Talk about their
Yes.
their film, or I'd be with my friends and go, "Oh, did you watch that thing last night?" Yeah, and I'd be talking all about it and everything, and go, "Yeah,
So I think, as far as it goes, you've done your pantomime, but you played the mayor. What then jumped you into playing the pantomime Dane, which is one of the most loved characters in the pantomime?
The Dane came years later, many years later. The Dane.
Okay.
Because when I did panto, still in the Androm days,
Yeah.
every time I did panto, I would always play the comedy either as a double act or whatever comedy role it was. That's what I played. I never
Brilliant.
played Dane. I got asked. I remember getting asked about doing it, and I just said no, um, because as far as I was concerned, you had to be a certain I felt that you had to be a certain age,
So
and so
your feeling was, I'm young, I'm 18, so you like silly Billy roles and those types of
the
characters was
comedy
your main.
policeman, anything like that, and
Yes.
I don't, it's just how I felt because I
Yeah.
thought I don't know enough about taking on such a role. I
Yeah.
don't know enough about everything else to be able to go, yeah, I'll put on a dress, and I'll put on a wig and what have you, and I'll do that.
Yes.
I thought I'm not, so I just said no.
Yes.
I'm not doing that. And I used to always get asked over the years, and I used to always go
Brilliant.
no.
And what would you
That's
say,
not.
Keith? What would you say the difference, having played both now professionally as well? What would you say was the difference between the comedy role and equally comedy role of the Dame? What would you say was the difference? And
Uh, the Dame, again, in this, in my opinion, the Dame is the one that pulls everything together. That
okay, good. Yeah.
absolutely pulls
Yeah.
everything. And even though you've got you can have a really great baddie, but even I've spoken to many people that have played the baddie role, and they've always said the same thing, that it's the Dame is the one that pulls everything in.
Yes.
So it's a big responsibility. And by me saying that, I'm not saying that the Dame is the most important person on the stage, and that, oh, look at me, I'm playing the Dame. Don't look at them. Is what I mean is that the Dame is so integral to that show,
Yes.
that what they do has an effect on every single character on it. And again, it's how they play it. Um,
And what skill
and
set would you need to play the Dame?
you need a good set of boobs, a good skill set. I think it's more an understanding of how a performer wants to play a Dame, because again, Ugly Sister is completely different.
Oh, is it? Go on, you explain.
Completely different to a Dame. Whereas traditional Dame, and the Dame that I play is a traditional Dame. Well, basically, this is how I see it. Right, you get your traditional Dame, which is your blacked out teeth and your hobnail boots and what have you. You're really rough. Your Les Dawson kind of Dame,
Yes.
right? And again, if people Google who Les Dawson is, you will see. Or Dan Leno, who was the very first
Yes.
pantomime Dame, and you've got Old Mother Riley, who was again a man
Yes. Yes.
who was playing Old Mother Riley, which was kind of a Dame really, and then you've got your camp Dame,
Okay.
your camp Dame, which is your more glamorous.
Your ugly sisters. Yeah.
No, not Ugly Sister. Your
Oh, not
Dame.
ugly
You
sisters.
can have a Dame that's played by traditionally another tradition, should I say, of a glamorous Dame,
A
a drag
glamorous one.
artist, right? A drag art,
Yes.
it's more of a drag artist, which again is great, because
Yeah.
I've watched both, and I've cried laughing. I've got
Yes.
actor friends that play different ones, and I cry laughing, and I
Yeah.
go, oh, I wish I could do that, but
Like
I
the Lily
can't do that.
Savage. Lily
Lily
Savage-esque.
Savage was
Yes.
again is
Yeah.
the glamorous Dame, and so that is the way to describe the two different Dames really. So
Um,
as an actor,
what's the difference? Forgive me for interrupting. What's the difference between a Dame and the Ugly Sisters?
right, a Dame is whether you're the traditional or the glamorous Dame, you're the more you're the friendly, you're the mum that everybody wants
Yes.
to be with, and you again, you've got all the dads out there that the Dame wants to be with, and the dads
Yes.
don't want to be with. Your Ugly Sisters, they're the ones that are really that are ugly, not just on the outside, but on the inside. So they've
Yes.
got everything is nasty about them.
Yes.
They've got no respect for anybody in the audience, anybody on the stage, apart from even when they're going for, they want to go for the Prince Charming, once he doesn't want anything to do with them, they want nothing to do with him. But even then, there's a level. They think they're above everybody. They're above everybody,
Right.
right?
Right.
Your Ugly Sisters are above everybody.
So they're kind of the
And
baddies. They're in the baddies camp, whereas
they're
the Dame, conventional.
they're in the baddie camp, and if there's a stepmother as well, that again, it's another level, because again,
Yes.
it's a weird one, because you've got the
Yeah.
stepmother who's a
Yeah.
baddie. You got the ugly stepsisters, who are the baddies. But again, they kind of towards the end of Cinderella anyway, they can kind of turn it around where the audience has pity on them. They
Yes.
don't take them on board in the same way that they would the Dane, because it's like, okay, we'll let you off because you're being nice to Cinderella now, but we don't
Yes.
really trust you or like you.
Yes.
And
But
again, and with the ugly sisters, the more booze you get as a baddie anyway, the bigger the booze, the louder they are, the more people that don't like you. You're doing your job straight away.
of
You've
course
done
you
it.
are.
You're
Yeah.
doing it because you don't want people to like you. You want them to like you for another reason, which they do.
Yes.
They like you for
Yes.
a different reason. Whereas again, the Dame, which I love playing Dame anyway, is that everybody wants to love you,
Would you
and
say you're
that's
the bosom of the pantomime?
definitely the bosom of the pantomime. Yeah. Yeah.
And Keith, what's your Dane character? Do you have the same character every pantomime, or do you play a different name? You know, because you're
It's only it's always again that my pantomime look. Unfortunately, I've not got a picture
well,
that
we can put it in
I
at the
can show
end,
you.
Keith. We can
Put it
put
in at
that
the
in at the
end.
end. Yeah.
In fact, here's the picture.
It might be
So,
at the end
actually,
then.
sorry, I've actually got a picture of. Oh, I have actually.
Oh, there we go. So this is you.
So that top one, that's me in Cinderella.
Oh my goodness, with the blonde
With
wig.
that's me there.
Oh, on the right. Yes,
Yeah, so that's
fantastic.
me there. The short, ugly one, and that's a guy, Betty Legs Diamond.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that's Ted Robbins in the middle.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, and that's when we did
Fant-
Cinderella in Preston over 10 years ago. It was.
I saw that. Well
Did
done.
you see that?
I did, Keith. Yes, I
Yeah,
did.
yeah,
Over 10 years ago. Yes, I did. That was one of the last things I saw. Yeah, that's
yeah.
brilliant.
And it was
Absolutely
we had
brilliant.
such an amazing time. We had a great time being
You were
Simon.
fantastic. I had no
Um,
idea you were one of those dames.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well
yeah. I
done.
played, and the way that we approach this, and again, this is how Paul is the one that recommended me for playing the Ugly Sister for the show, because the producer Chris was looking for another
Who's Paul? Sorry. Who's Paul?
Paul, Paul Humphreys, my friend
Paul
Paul.
Humphreys. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, Paul, and he recommended. He said, "Look, I know somebody that can play Ugly Sister," and he mentioned me, and they got in touch with Paul. Messaged me and said, "Have you got Panto this this particular year?" And I went, "Not yet."
Yeah.
He went, "Do you want to play Ugly Sister because they're after someone?" So here I went in, had a meeting, and that was it. They brought me on board
Fantastic. Oh,
to play.
fantastic. What a cast as well. Ted
And
Robbins
it
and
was
Betty Legs.
great. Yeah,
Yeah.
we had such a great time, and the way that we played it was because I'm small. I'm only 5'2", and obviously Betty Legs is up here, and with heels on, he's even higher. I mean,
Yeah.
I've got blocks on there,
Yeah.
and I'm still only how small I am, and we used that to our advantage, because the idea was that he was the glamorous ugly sister, and I was the short, dumpy, trying to be glamorous ugly sister.
Oh, Keith, that's
So
fantastic.
that's how we played it, and we had such a great time doing
Yes.
doing that. And it wasn't the first time I played Ugly Sister, of course, but it was like, oh, the dynamics work well, and it does. You've got to have that right dynamic when
Yeah.
you're playing with someone else. It's got to work.
Yeah. It's got to
And up
bounce.
to
You've
now,
got to
I've
have
been
that.
fortunate up to now that it has worked, whoever I've played with, and I've always gone for that approach. That if I'm working with somebody that's more glamorous than I am, then it
Yeah.
works. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, how
That's me as that was me in Aladdin playing Widow Twankey.
oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So the look that I have is, and a lot of dames, I'm not speaking out of turn, but all dames have a look that
Yes.
they have. The only
Yeah.
thing that's different are the dresses, or the name, because the voice and the look that they have is the same. So I
Yeah.
keep that throughout. I just have a
You're
different name.
what you're saying, Keith, is you're a conventional dame.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
basically, it's like a clown.
Yes.
You never see the same clown look,
Yes.
right? So nobody will have my look. You will never see a dame. They've got their own look, look for playing that character. A lot of people like how I look. A lot of people don't like how I look. They don't like it, and it's like, well, that's how I play it.
Yes.
That's how I do it.
Yeah.
And I adapted that from when I very first started playing Dame. I kind of then worked on it a bit more and adapted it, and that's the way that I've looked now for
I like it. I like the
yeah.
traditional, because I was raised doing pantos as well, and I've always admired the traditional dame, the conventional traditional dame, as I say, which is the bosom of the show, and he clips Silly Billy over the head or whatever the actual pantomime is, and I think it's a very rewarding role, and if you can get, like you say, not just the dads, but if you can get everybody hooting and laughing in the
Yeah,
audience. And they tend to do the song sheet at the end as well, don't they?
yeah.
Which is which is
Which is
magic.
such fun.
So you've got to be great with children as well, don't you, Keith? Because you're bringing the children
We've
up.
got to be great with everybody, but
Yeah,
but the way I play, especially when with the kids, and especially because we get if we get kids on the stage to do the song sheet, and kids are great because you don't know what they're going to say.
yeah,
And the one thing I don't do is I don't make kids look silly, because there's nothing worse than having kids
good.
on stage and I've worked with people that kind of take the mickey out of the kids and
Yeah, they do the
use
jokes
that to
over the
make
top, and
make it then put it.
yes,
It's like no, this is
you
their moment,
celebrate them. You celebrate them.
and I enjoy, and then whatever they say I kind of embrace it, and the audience
Good,
know,
good.
they know, and they know that I'm not taking, I don't take the mickey out of kids. It's because it's great, this is their little moment, and I just
Absolutely.
but no, but I'm a part of that.
That's brilliant.
So that's basically that's my look, and it's the only reason why I say I play the game the way I do is
Yeah,
because, again, I have to, because of how I look. I utilize my height and my
yeah,
look. So
yeah.
that's to get the best of what I can do. That's why I look like that. I couldn't play the glamorous one. I couldn't do that because it's not my
Okay,
nature to do that. Even though
okay,
I try, even though when I do Ugly Sister, I don't look as gross as I do when I do the Dame. I try glam it up a bit, but it's still not there. It's still not the way that another Ugly Sister would be. That they're more glamorous than I would ever be, because
okay.
I can't reach that.
You've got to be mindful of the role that you're playing, that it sticks within the constraints, because a pantomime
Yeah.
has a conventional frame to it. And the prince, I mean, I was playing princess saying, oh Dick, I didn't know you're behind me, but I had no idea that it was coming across as Barbara Windsor. So you've got to be very careful that those roles go, you stick within the
You've
confines.
got to be played by
Yeah.
by the right people.
So the Prince of Wales Theatre, moving on to that's where you perform your pantomime, and you're there this Christmas, is that right?
I'm there this Christmas, yes. Yeah.
And the Prince of Wales Theatre.
Yeah, I'll be in Cinderella this year.
Yes. And is this somewhere that we are aware that it's the Prince of Wales Theatre? I'm trying to guide you into telling us that joke.
I think it's at the Prince of Wales Theatre.
Okay.
The Prince of Wales Theatre. Come on, everybody. Yes.
Wow.
Not that one. The one in Cannock.
The one in Cannock, was that?
Cannock, yeah. No, listen, it's lovely. It's lovely. I love Cannock. I've got such a love for the place, and a bond, with the theatre there.
And where's Cannock, Keith?
Cannock is it's in between Wolverhampton and Birmingham.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
And do you come there every year, Keith? Do you go back as a guest each year?
I've been there on and off now for over 20 years.
Wow.
It's
Well, that's
not
a
been
credit.
It's not consecutively 20 years, but it has been there's only been a couple of gaps in between. So I didn't want to say, yeah, I've been there for over 20 years, but yeah, I've been, they just asked me back.
And is that as the pantomime? That's brilliant? As the pantomime dame? Is that as the pantomime dame?
As the pantomime dame or the ugly sister? Yeah.
Wow. Well, you must be fantastic, because they don't ask the same acts always to come back year on year unless you've got some real gusto and talent, which you obviously have, Keith. So that's a credit to you.
What's been nice about Cannock is that I've gained a little bit of a following.
Yes.
The same people that come back to watch, and
that's what I mean.
When it's announced that I'm doing the theatre, I do get messages of people going, "Oh, I'm glad that you've come back," and everything. Or I might get somebody saying, "Are you coming back?" And I go, I don't know. I see what whether it happens. I don't know where I'll be. I never take it for granted that I'll be back at the same theatre. I never take that for granted. And this year I didn't think I'd be going back. Because the company that I used to do panto for, they're no longer doing. So a new company have taken over. But so I thought, okay, so a new company, I'll be elsewhere this year. But then they got in touch with me and asked me, was I interested in coming back to play their ugly sister? So I said no, on your bike. No, I didn't. No, I said yeah.
And so what part are you playing this year, and what obviously we know you're Dane, but what's the pantomime, Keith?
It's Cinderella, and one of the uglies. I don't know what the name. I've not seen a script or anything yet. I don't know.
Brilliant. And when do you start rehearsals?
We start rehearsing it's a short rehearsal because it's only a short run. It's only on for it's on for about a week, the show.
Fantastic.
That's when we put it on in Cannock. So we start rehearsing on the 12th of December.
Okay, and that's the Prince of Wales Theatre in Cannock. 12th of December is your rehearsal. And do you know the date that it opens?
We open on we should know this.
It's only been 20 years.
I think it's only 20 years. Yeah, crikey. I think it's the 20. Something like the 22nd, 23rd,
yeah,
I think.
That makes sense.
Or 23rd. It's somewhere around there we open.
Yeah, 23rd.
I know we finish on the 28th.
Hey.
Yeah.
So it's a 1 week pantomime run.
2 shows a day,
Wales.
Apart from Christmas Day, we're off.
Brilliant. Oh, brilliant. Well, so if anybody wants to find you, catch you on that. And can anybody on social media, have you got any links or anything, Keith, if anybody wanted to contact you?
If you can find me on all the socials. Yeah, I'm on there. So just Google me and I'll pop up.
Fantastic. Sides of buses, anything like that?
Yeah. More like the back of a bus.
No, Keith.
Yeah. Well, we've got press day in July.
Yeah.
So that's when I'll get to meet all the cast.
Brilliant.
First time, and we'll do whatever we're doing on press day to publicise it. Yeah.
Fantastic. Oh, that's fantastic. So that's Christmas, and prior to that, what we want to know now, what this actor creature role is that you play. So you're a creature actor, and tell us what that is. Obviously you've explained at the beginning what that's all about, but have you got any characters that are most memorable? Is it television, is it film, is it live?
No, it's film. Is what I do, but I can tell you the
go on.
I can tell you the build up of how it came about, because obviously I'm an actor. That's kind of, I came in this industry wanting to be an actor, and obviously as an actor you want people to see that, don't you? It's like people to see the face, and so I never thought that I would end up doing work where nobody knows who it is, nobody knows who is behind the costume, behind the mask. I never thought that would ever happen, and the first time I ever did anything like that, I know that we've said that whenever I do character work, I've got makeup on and what have you, and I've got wigs on, but this is it. That's still me. It's still an element of it's me, Keith, the actor. But when I do costume character work or creature work, then you don't know that it's me in there. People have no idea of some of the things I've done or do.
And that can be your
And
autobiography title, Behind the Mask, Keith de
Behind the
Winter.
Mask. All 2 pages worth of it. Oh, that's it. Right, okay, thank you.
Not at all.
And, but I'm crikey, you can see I prepared everything this morning, can't
I think
you?
you're
Can't find
fantastic.
anything.
Yeah.
I can't. But a lot of the work I do is say costume character work, and that's kind of what led me into the creature work, and I got into it by chance. And do you remember Granada Studios tour?
Yes, I've been on it. Yes, and
You've been on it?
I've been on it a few times, and Paul hosts it. Humphreys has hosted it, hasn't he?
Yeah. Well, he worked at the Coronation Street tours.
Oh, okay.
Which was after the Studios
original.
tour.
I did the original when I was little. Yes.
Right. Well, I used to work at the original.
Okay.
The tour. So you remember when you used to come in? It used to be the New York Street.
Yes.
And you used to have the theatres and the House of Commons and all that, and then you also went on the tour behind the scenes of what might happen. And at the
on
end
a little
of that,
bus as well. Was it a little bus as well?
Yeah, the New York street, the bus on the street.
That's
and
it.
Then you would do the tour, and at the end of the tour, you would come out and you would visit Coronation Street.
Yes.
Yeah. Right. So I used to work there as a performer. Now, when I first worked there, before I worked there, this is just a quick. I'll try and get through this quick. I don't want to keep you for hours. But my one of my friends when I was in the Sphere Players, Denise, she used to work for the World in Action department.
Okay.
And they used to be based at Granada Studios. And then one day she came into our into rehearsals. We were rehearsing for whatever it was, and she said, "Oh, she went, we're doing Granada, a building this TV theme park, right? So not theme park, TV." Studios, walk around,
like a studio, centre
studio around Coronation Street. And what they're doing is they're doing a mock-up visit. They're inviting a few people to come in and talk about it, what they're doing and what the plan is, and to take you on a little walk around of what it's going to be like. So a few of us said, yeah, we'll come to that. And I thought, yeah, I definitely want to do that because it's Granada. I want to go to Granada TV.
Yeah.
And so we came down, we went into an office, and they had the model of Granada Studios that they made and what have you. And looking at this model going, oh, this is fantastic. And of course, nothing was built. It was just about to start works, about to start building. So they were talking about showing us doing a slideshow talking about Granada, and basically it was like going to be like Universal Studios. You come in and you walk around these film the sets and TV sets and everything, taking on the backstage tour, and at the end of it, on Coronation Street.
And you got to see the actual cobbled street and the outdoors,
Coronation
and then you got to realise when they open the door, it's just rubble, and you got to go inside.
So we got what we did on this particular day. We went and they did the presentation. They said, right, we'll take you on a little walk now of where we're going to start off with with the people that come in, paying members. And so they took us on a little walk around. They said, right, we're going to have this will become a New York street setting, and we're like, oh, right, and going, right, okay. And I think the best way to describe it would be maybe like Times Square, that kind of feel. And we'll have shops here, and we'll have a diner, and this will be tour departures where people come to go on a backstage tour. So they took us down this, under the archway, taking us into the hallway, going, right, we'll have this here, this room, we'll have and this will become a giant's room from the show and everything. We're going, right, okay, brilliant. And this will be the House of Commons set we're going to have here and everything. Right, okay. We'll have a stairway built here. It's not there yet. We'll have a stairway to the stars, and you're going to go up that staircase, and we'll have a big glass display with looking over Hollywood.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, Hollywood. Right, why not go out? Be looking over Hollywood, and then we'll have a giant spaceship come over. Imagine they will have that come over it and everything. Oh, right, okay, great. And that was it. Told us all about it and came away and it was like, right, fantastic. And I think that might have been about 1985.
Yeah, that makes sense.
About that when they were talking about it, because then it opened up in 1988.
Yeah.
Now, of course, that build up and from it actually opening, I don't know where I was, but I wasn't aware of any of that happening. And then because obviously nobody was, because we don't have social media.
Yeah,
We didn't have any of that then. We had newspapers or the TV.
Yeah.
And they didn't really report on things like that the way that they would do these days. So I remember then that this place opened up, this Granada Studios tour, and I was thinking, oh my goodness me, I want to go. So I remember I did go, took my kids, went on a day out, and it was fantastic. I thought, oh God, this is great. This is just amazing. And I just fell in love with it. I thought, wow, I want to be here. I want to work here.
Oh.
But I didn't know how you would come about doing that. How would you get a job being an actor doing that? So I thought nothing more of it. And then one of the things that I used to do, again, things that I was trying to do to get into becoming an actor, I had this idea. We're saying about being Dame and everything. How did I get into that? The first time I ever played Dame, one of the jobs I ever did was a job that I loved, and I got a job working in a cinema.
Okay, yeah.
Right? And I worked through the ranks. I used to be we used to have a waistcoat, that waistcoat, dicky bow and everything, seeing people into the cinema and everything, and I thought it's the best job in the world. I'm telling people, this is the time it was. I used to tell people, come in, are you smoking? Smoking on the left, no smoking on the right.
Yes.
Because smoke never used to go over the other side; it used to stay over one side.
It did,
and it was great because this cinema at the time. It was when it was there. It was the Roxy Cinema, and it was based in Hollinwood.
Yes.
Right. So, and I at the time used to live off Broadway.
Wow.
Right. So I lived in New Boston, lived off Broadway, and I used to work in Hollinwood. In a cinema.
I mean, that says it all. What
and I thought,
CV.
well, it doesn't get any better than this. So, and then I became a projectionist as well. So I was a trained projectionist. I used to be the one that made the reels up, and I used to put them on a big tower, and I used to project these for an audience to watch. So that for me was a massive, because I love film.
Basically, Keith, you've done in front of the camera, and you've also seen how it all works operating behind the camera. So you've got a wealth of knowledge there.
Well, an understanding from the cinema point of view. And I learned another craft on how important it is to present film for an audience to watch. Something they don't do now. There's not the same kind of level of care anymore. But back then there used to be that level of care. You used to put on a show for people to watch. That's what it's all about. Like you go to a theatre to watch a play or a musical, whatever. That's a show. Same thing should be with a cinema. You go in and you come to watch a film. You want it to be presented to you in all its glory. The people that made this, they want it to be presented the best possible way, not with people sat there on the phone, or people talking, or people munching away and drinking, slurping, or talking and everything. Don't want that. They want it to be the way that it should be.
It used to be, which I know you'll know as well. It used to be in my father's generation where people would play the organ or something at the front. So it used to be a live interactive piece of theatre, which is why a lot of cinemas look like theatres.
Yeah, so, I don't remember the organ. Thanks.
No, I'm glad.
Well, they still have. There's still a couple in the country. One of them is in Stockport at the Davenport Theatre. They've still got the organ that comes up. So sometimes they depending what show they have, they'll have the organ and they'll have them playing it. And if they have a film show on, then they'll have the organ playing, and then they'll go down and then they'll put on a film. They probably don't do that as much as they would like because of the cinema, but I think that's mainly for when they show really old films and things.
Yeah, what a good idea. Yeah.
So, but I think they still do that, and I just love the idea of that.
Yeah.
Take people back to how it should be.
I agree with you there. Yeah.
Yeah. So so being at the cinema, we had I think it was there was one of the ladies that worked there. She had a son who was disabled, and so we wanted to do a collection for something to do with some equipment that they wanted to get. So we thought we'll do a pantomime. We'll put on a pantomime, just this one show that we'll do, and we did Cinderella. Now, of course, the idea would be right. If we're doing Cinderella, how can we do this? So because we were all kind of writing it together at the time, we put in three ugly sisters. Right, we had
Okay.
three ugly sisters. We were just right. We've got carte blanche here. We'll just do it that way. So that's how we did it. And somewhere I do have a picture of me in, and that was the very first time I played an ugly sister.
Okay.
I used to have this moustache. Oh my God, I look like a 70s porn star. But probably more
Is that
just
why your wife fell in love with you?
if you should have seen me like that, she'd have fell out of love with me. I tell you that. As a creature, I'm a creature performer.
Yeah.
Actor. That's what I do now. And the films that I have appeared in have been the Star Wars, the new
Wow.
generation of Star Wars films.
Star Wars is a cult following. So basically, Keith, go on, tell us what character you
So
played in Star Wars.
I appeared in Star Wars: The Force Awakens, and
Okay.
the as a creature, and it's this
This
little
guy
guy
here.
here. I'm just trying to find a picture that can show you a nice one of him. There he is,
Brilliant.
and that's him, and he's called Ghost Tours, right?
Wow.
And he was the very first one that I played in that film, and it was just a dream come true because I love Star Wars. I'm a big
Yeah.
Star Wars fan. So getting how I got into that journey, that's a whole other story as
Wow.
well to go into. But yeah, so from that film, um,
And did you have to audition, Keith? Did you have to
um,
audition for this role?
no, I didn't.
What did you do? What was your CV?
I got recommended for the role.
Brilliant.
Yeah. I didn't know that at the time. It was only
Yeah.
afterwards when I went in what I thought was an audition, and
Yeah.
it wasn't. It was basically them meeting me, and because that's when I went in. I had a head cast made. It's where they cover you in silicone and everything to get a mold of your head.
But
Uh,
before that, because that's very exciting, before that, how do you audition? Because I've never heard of this. How does one audition for a creature as a creature actor?
well,
How do you?
again, I never ever imagined that I would do this kind of work anyway.
That's
And
brilliant.
it came from me doing. I got recommended for it. Just tell you the story very quickly because I know that we're on a time limit. I was a part of the Barney the Dinosaur live show, and it toured Saudi Arabia. We did a short tour. The
Wow.
choreographer on that show is a guy called Paul Casey, an amazing guy, an amazing creature performer himself,
Wow.
and he's a great dancer. He is a
I
dancer.
told you, you got to move as
Uh,
well,
yeah, but
surely.
he is a oh. Did he put us through our paces? I'll tell you that now. And he
What did he
recommended
play?
me.
Did you play Barney?
No, no, I didn't play Barney. Barney's like 6 foot tall. I played one of the smaller dinosaurs, one that was called BJ. He's
Okay.
the yellow one, dinosaur, and that's the one that I played on the tour. And he, like I say, when I came,
And what,
I got
forgive me, what was the tour again? Just explain.
Barney the dinosaur. It was the live Barney the dinosaur and Friends live, and that toured Saudi Arabia. And
Brilliant.
it apparently over the few years it had done various tours in different cities over there, and then I went and did my tour out there.
Wow. And how
Yeah.
did you get that role? Because anybody that's interested, perhaps as you've just explained, there might be people that are a little more shy and they want to play creatures and roles where they're not themselves, or they might not be comfortable or confident speaking and those kind of things. What would your advice be?
Again, it's not for everybody. A lot of people think they can put a costume on and
Yeah.
that's it, they can do it, and it's not the case. The very first time that I did do that, I had no idea that I could ever do that. I just saw somebody playing this mascot, and I looked and went, I want to do that. I want to do
Wow.
that. Eventually, when I did never done it before, and had a great time, and I could do
Yeah.
it. It's like
Yeah.
I just kind of did it,
It
and
felt
the
right.
more
It felt, yeah.
it felt right, and the more I did it, so people seeing this on stage, I didn't care. I wasn't bothered about that. I didn't care
Yes.
about all that. I wanted
Yes.
to do the work that was not coming in, that was more comfortable. So you're trying to get this inanimate object for people. You have to move your head in a certain way. Even if you want to look sad, you have to do things that people would know what you're saying.
Yeah.
People know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I would always have somebody with me, as a minder, that would always be the voice, if you like, of the character.
Yes.
And they would say, oh, and they would talk, and I always try to work with people that know me, because we work so well together. They know the little things that I do. They know what I'm saying. They know what I'm doing. So if somebody doesn't understand, he would, they would help them out more by going, oh, he said they like your hat, they like you, or whatever it would be that I'm trying to get across. But nine
Brilliant.
times out of 10, an audience will know what I'm doing.
So it's
They'll
very
know what
much
I'm saying.
so it's very much physical theatre,
It's
mime,
very, very physical.
and you would say being an actor is a good prerequisite for a position like this. Should anybody else be interested in doing this type of work?
It is, but again, like I say, there are a lot of actors that I know that can't do it, that just do not have
Yeah.
that basic requirement to put on a costume and perform. And the same goes for you don't have to. You don't have to be an actor. There are not many people that can put on a costume and bring it to life. So
Yeah.
if you've got the attributes of a performer,
Yeah.
because again, that kind of the word performer, it's slightly different from an actor anyway. And there are a lot of people that can perform but can't act.
Yes. There's a whole cross spectrum, and this is what
There's
this
a whole
podcast is about. There's
yeah.
Entertainment has from the front of house to the back,
Yeah.
to the performer,
There's
to the
so
entertainer.
many different things, because
Yeah.
I know that I can do. There are things that I can do out of costume. I can do things because I've worked on front of house on a theatre, and
Yeah.
I'll form in a certain way
Yeah.
with people coming in to give them an experience when they arrive.
Yes.
But then it'll be different. If I'm acting, it'll be completely different to what I'm doing when they meet me. Again, it's this thing of that. But when people see me on the stage, if it's in an acting role, when I come off, they don't say you're the same.
Yeah.
I've never had anybody say that, and I hope they don't do. That my role at Granada Studios, how I got in there was by being Stan Laurel.
Okay.
And obviously, I wouldn't have been able to do that had it not come from my growing up and studying and watching him as this comedy icon.
Yes.
That I grew up to love everything that he did and adapt all these little nuances that he did, and the
Yes.
mannerisms and everything. And I just adopted them as if they were my own.
Can you
And
give
now
us a
and
bit
again,
of a Stan? Can you
and
show us now?
I'll do things. I'll do
Brilliant.
things for people, and they'll go, "That's so Stan Laurel," and I go, "Oh," and it's a big compliment when they do that.
Yes.
So it's you never know as an actor what your journey's going to be, where
No,
you're
you
going
don't.
to end up.
That's
And
it.
I never take anything for granted. And people that are getting into this industry, if they want to become an actor or a creature performer or a puppeteer or anything like that, I've got a friend of mine who does puppeteer courses online, and but they never used to be. You could never do anything like that. He along with other people that he knows and that I know now, learned the craft just by starting out. In the same
Yes.
way that Jim Henson,
Yes.
created everything he created. He didn't open a manual and go, "This is how you bring a puppet to life. This is what you do." oh right, that's what you do. There was none of that. You had to learn all that, and all
Yes.
these things that he made in the same way that all the creatures in the Star Wars
Brilliant.
universe and many other films
And where
that
did you
they
film this, Keith? Where did you film the Star
we
Wars?
filmed all the Star Wars films were filmed at Pinewood Studios. That's where I did my filming,
Yeah.
and I also did some on location work at Greenham Common.
Yes. Yes.
Did there on The Force Awakens, and
And was it
then
a long preparation to get the mask and prosthetics and things?
everything was made because we had various fittings before I was
Yes.
called in for the filming day. And then it was a case of making sure everything's right, comfortable, and it all fits. The costume fits right, so they make sure that you're comfortable.
Yes.
You're never going to be 100% comfortable in
No,
these
of
things,
course.
never,
Yes.
right? So again, you have to, you've got to be. I believe you should, I try keep fit for the, to do this kind of
Yes.
work. It's all
Yes.
about the stamina as well for how long you're in these costumes. Because again, you've got to remember that when you've got these, these animatronic heads on, you're in this costume. It's very hot, and the filming, and obviously these films cost a lot of money to make, and they don't have time to be filming, and then you go, I need a break. I need a break. I need to get out of this, because then that stops everything.
Right. Has that ever
Or
happened, Keith?
no, it's certainly not when I've been doing anything.
Yeah.
Because as far as I'm concerned, I'll stay in it for as long as they want me to,
Good.
because I want to. But on saying that, it rarely happens anyway, because we
Yeah.
have a coordinator on set who's very strict with with the director and with the producer, and say, right, my guys have been in the costume for this length of time. Can we take heads off now? And it'll be heads off, so you can get have a little break. But
And
then
how
again,
long would you be in it? Are we talking 3 hours? Are we talking an
no,
hour,
no, no,
45?
no. The length of time in would be 30 minutes.
Fine. Yeah,
That's
but
all.
still a long time.
But you could be in it. I mean, I've been in it for longer.
Yeah.
But that again, it depends on the situation. They will ask if you're okay. They'll go, look, we're getting this filmed,
Yes.
and it's quicker if we've got to stop. It's going to take a lot
Yeah.
longer to film a certain scene. So you've got to adapt.
And
To
what
it.
other skills? What other skills, Keith? So we've got movement, whether it's dance, it doesn't have to be RAD ballet, but you're saying movement. You're saying obviously reliability, an ability not to sweat profusely.
Well, no matter what, you never know whichever costume you're going into. You don't know how you're going to sweat in this thing till
Yeah.
you put it on.
But you're saying, what I'm saying on a serious note is sports ability in terms of looking after your health so that
If
you're
you've got to
in
look
good
after your
condition.
health, because if you don't look at it after your health, I mean, certainly if you've got if you're somebody that's got asthma or suffers a lot with bad chest and that, you're going to really have problems keeping
Right.
in costume. Because what you've got to remember again is what we're saying earlier about when you're doing a play or a pantomime, if you've got 10 shows you're doing in a week, every show is as if you've done it for the first time.
Yeah.
The same thing applies for creature work, that you'll do a bit, you'll have a break, but when you come back in it again, it's got to be it's got to be, that level has got to be up here all the time.
Yeah.
That level of performance all the time. You can't let it flag. No, you can't. You definitely can't. You've got to keep it up there all the time. So by keeping looking after yourself,
Yeah.
this is it's a mindset, and but I keep fit because these things can be heavy
Yes.
as well,
Yes.
and the strain. So you've got to look after you certainly got to look after your body. Just keep fit, fit and healthy.
And what particular scene could we see you in, Keith? And I will make a point of watching that particular
Well,
one.
you can. A lot of it is blink and you miss. A lot of these things,
I know,
blink and you
but
miss.
just
But
remind us of the character name again.
the character I play in The Force Awakens is Ghost Tours, and he was also in The Last Jedi. That was
Okay.
my second Star Wars film I did. The other the one of the best ones to see me. Actually, he's another one. He appeared in The Last Jedi.
This is you.
That's me. in The Last
Brilliant.
Jedi, and this one is me.
Great.
That him there, and I was in The Last Jedi. Now, in The Last Jedi, there's unfortunately this was a night scene that we shot. We shot it over 2 nights, and it took weeks of rehearsal, weeks of to get it all right, and it got cut from the film, and the dreaded
Oh,
cut from the film. But it's available as a deleted scene on the Blu-ray
okay.
DVD, so you can see it on there. 5 minutes left in the meeting, right? 5 minutes left, right? Talk. Oh, I'm going about. Good night, right? So, yeah, you can see that on the deleted
I can
scene, so
see your
that you'll be
Paul
able to
Humphries
see
friend.
him a lot more than you would the others. And again,
Well, we
unless
can add that
you,
onto the film. We can add that onto the podcast if you like. If you've got a
yeah.
clip of it, send it through, and we can
Well,
add that onto
I
the...
don't have the clip. Obviously,
Okay.
it's copyright and everything, but
Okay.
you can certainly find these things on YouTube and what have you. I'm sure.
Great.
But if people have got the Blu-ray, the DVD, the deleted scenes, they'll find various things on
Brilliant.
there. And if people do want to know anything, they can always drop me a message, and I can
Yes.
certainly.
Any aspiring people who are genuinely wanting to do this type of work and have got a similar backdrop to yourself and all the attributes that you've got, and as you say, it's challenging work. It's not easy, but
It's not easy.
it's mindset, it's heavy costumes, it's long time on set. Like all acting and film, it looks so glamorous, as you said, when you sat in the cinema watching it. But the work.
Yeah, film work certainly isn't glamorous. You can be. I've been on a film set, obviously not on the actual set because the filming. I've been at the side. I've been waiting, and you can be there for like 10, 12
Yeah.
hours waiting
Yeah.
before you do anything. But
Yes.
it's the love of it. I mean, obviously
It's a
people take,
passion, isn't it?
it's a
It doesn't
passion.
matter.
I've got a passion for this
Yes.
kind of thing.
Yes.
So
And
I enjoy it that much. Yeah.
one last thing I want to add on, Keith. The other thing I want to add is your connection with Paul Humphries, who's also been on the podcast. And Paul and you, at the current events that you do, I called it the big blue bear or something. If you can
Big
tell
blue
us.
bear. Yeah. Bear.
And Paul,
yeah,
Paul
I
put
do.
me right. So tell me what you do.
Not many people know about him, and it's funny. It's a weird one because the one thing I rarely do is I never tag myself as that's who I am.
Okay.
I would never do that because again, it's the illusion. Somebody who I'm a part of is this little guy.
Oh, and who is this?
And he's the mascot for the official mascot for a football team for
Okay.
Manchester City, right? So, but I've known Paul for a few years, but Paul does alongside me look after the little blue fella. Yeah.
Oh, and that's Paul Humphries again, a good
Paul
friend of
Humphrey,
yours.
yeah.
And you do comedy sketches together as well, is that right?
We do, yeah, we did. Oddly enough, we're currently writing a script for a follow-up to a sitcom that we did 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's the 10th anniversary. So we're currently developing a script that we're hoping to do a bit of filming this year, just to celebrate 10 years later of these two characters that we
Wow.
played. One's an ex-stand-up comic, which is played by me, and the
Yep.
other guy is his best friend who's just an alcoholic. And it's a comedy. It's a lovely little comedy. You can find it on YouTube actually.
And what's it called?
And
Sorry.
it's called Stand Up.
Stand Up. Okay.
Stand Up, yeah.
And this is you and Paul Humphries. So Keith De
Yeah,
Winter and Paul Humphries Stand Up
in
on
Stand Up.
YouTube.
I mean, if
Yeah.
you have trouble finding it, you can always look on. If you Google Keith De Winter or Paul Humphries or Paul Hilton for Stand Up, it should come up.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And so your next event then is going to be pantomime at Christmas. You're still working as, what would you call the blue character? What's the name of the mascot?
He's called Moonchester.
Moonchester. There we go.
Yeah.
So
well, he's an ongoing character that it's been a part of my life for quite a few years now.
Because I've seen that
And so,
character
yeah,
running around this. I've seen that character running around the stadium, and
he runs
he can
around a lot.
move.
Oh,
He
he
can
can move.
physically. I can see your long distance running coming in there, as Paul seems to put you to your paces. I don't know if he's speeding up the camera, but I always think, my goodness, that man's very athletic. That character's very athletic.
Yeah, no, he's good. I'm very fortunate that they still want, have me involved in having him around. Yeah.
He's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And so, anything else on the horizon for you, Keith,
Um,
ahead?
well, the next thing that I've got is that I do comic cons.
Oh, brilliant.
Again, it's all to do with the Star Wars and the Marvel
Great.
universe because I'm in a Marvel film as well. So yeah, I go along there, get invited as a guest, and to meet all the fans.
And are you
That
playing a character at Comic-Con?
I'm playing this character, just me.
Okay.
It's
You
just
could.
people get to meet me, and if they want an autograph, then
Oh, I
that's what they
see.
can
So
do.
they get to meet the celebrity behind the
They get
mask.
to meet the person that plays that character in the film. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
That's absolutely fantastic, Keith.
Yeah.
Well, I have to say, it has
Yeah.
been an absolute pleasure speaking to you today.
Oh, it's
What a
been lovely
wealth.
chatting to you. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Keith. And what a wealth of talents that you have, a wealth of strings to your bow, right from childhood, all the things that you've, conveyed today. Anybody out there that's an aspiring young actor performer that wants to get involved and do these types of things, what an inspiration you are to everybody. And
No,
I wish you
go on.
every
Go on.
success.
Go on.
Wish you
No,
I
go
wish
on. Come on.
I wish you continued in every success ahead, and may there be many more Star Wars series, and may you get asked along to many more of those as well, and indeed any other movies. And honestly, what a wonderful career. I've never heard of some of the work that you're doing, the behind the scenes style, and it's been an absolute pleasure, Keith, speaking to you today. Thank you very much for coming on to the podcast.
Thank you, and may the force be with you.
What a great end. Thanks, Keith. All the best. Thanks again. Bye, love.
Bye.